Greetings. I'm back again. This Brother West coming to you again. I mentioned my last message about God's grace. It was His grace was sufficient. I was referencing to Apostle Paul when he was called to the third heaven, and when he came out of the trance, and he had sought God 3 times to take away that thorn in the flesh that was assigned to him. And God responded by saying His grace was sufficient. So His grace was basically more than enough. It was everything that he needed to make it to overcome, to be victorious. All those things is in you. And I talked about the dunamis, the dynamo inside of you, that once there's an explosion within the explosion that causes even a greater power to come forth. And I talked about the grace. And I want to talk about another part of His grace, and His grace also can be, is offense, hedge, protection. God's grace, where there's certain boundaries that you're protected by. The enemy can't come in, can't touch you, can't do nothing. His grace. Song said, God be my fence. And but what I want to give you two examples of God's protection, 2 examples of God's grace. And I'm saying this to testify, also to confirm, and also to agree with some of the similar things that God has done for you. And the one example that I want to give is in this example, probably about a year ago, about 2 years ago, God reminded me of this. 2 examples. I was planning on going out to this one sports bar after work, planning on going there to watch the game, watch the Lakers or something. And but for some reason, I was late. I was late getting off, and I was kind of upset about late getting off. So whatever. And so it kind of delayed what I was expecting to get there a certain time. And so I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time it was cool. Whatever. And so I get there and be able to watch the game or whatever. But the crazy thing about it, I was there 30 minutes late. But when I pulled up, probably about 10 minutes prior, there was a shooting. Now I was disappointed why I wasn't there 30 minutes prior. But I'm 30 minutes late, getting off work 30 minutes late, and so I'm pulling up at the sports bar, and 10 minutes prior, there was a shooting. And when I pull up, just people coming out, cops and all that. And so what I realized and what I understood is that God's grace had protected me. Even though I didn't know what was going on at my destination, but God knew. And because God knew it, He delayed my arrival. And many of you, the enemy has set a trap for you, set something up for you. And it's on a time schedule where you're supposed to arrive. But I come to tell you prophetically, God is going to delay. He's going to delay your arrival. And in Him delaying your arrival, you're going to receive a Passover. The scripture says, God says that when I see the blood, that death angel is going to pass by you. Let me give you an example, and then we'll get off of here. Now, this next example, my wife was telling me something. She was telling me, she was younger, lifestyle, she ran the streets, she was in gangs and all of that, and that's behind her. God is to protect her. He protected her. She slept in the car for a year, and she went through a whole lot of stuff and went on all kind of stuff, but God brought her out of it. And she pointed out a certain person to me one time, And this person was paralyzed in a wheelchair. And she was letting me know that she used to hang out with this particular person all the time. But just so happened that particular night where they once hung out, they didn't. And when they didn't, something happened to the other person and she was protected. It's amazing how God protects us, even when we're not aware that he's protected. Even when we don't know who God is, when we are trying to survive, trying to live, and when we're lost in trespasses and sin, and we don't really know God, but God is protecting us. When we're living in sin and doing whatever, God still protects us. And that's amazing. That's amazing. The things that we do, the mistakes that we make, his grace is sufficient, because God's grace is sufficient because he extended that grace to us. He extended that grace, and that grace came by way of a sacrifice. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Is that all right? God bless you.